Thoughts of a Common Man. And we're going to be talking to the common man about life and life's problems. And here we go. And good Monday morning, everybody. I guess you can say this weekend with the final seventh game in the NBA was a crock of something. I can't say, I can't go into it. But, you know, to me, it was politics and more politics. You know, I really didn't like the way this thing went. It's not because of something personal, but professionalism is professionalism. In the NBA, I think they just dropped the ball on this one here. And I think they wanted Cleveland to have the game, you know, after all this, because they have lost so many of the time. You know, I didn't like a lot of eyes for L. Eyes. We, you know, I got this lady. She, every time she comes here, the ratings just shoot up. I mean, they take eyes. Every time you come, the ratings just do a wham like this. The last time she was here, over 1,000 people responded to this show in less than 25 minutes. I mean, yeah, you're pretty. Yeah, you're smart.
But
yeah, and you make me look good. Make me look audaciously good, you know, and I like that. But you're very popular, and your popularity is growing, girl.
thank you.
I mean, you are out there. You're an icon, becoming an icon in the community. Did I say that right? Icon?
Well, let's hope you did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think icon's something good.
I think
That's
so,
something forever. You know? But seriously, Fatima, we like, as a young person, you're very impressive, is what a lot of people are saying. You know, and you impress everybody with your candor and your grandeur and all the things that you're doing and trying to accomplish. What is with you, girlfriend?
What is with me?
Yeah, that's like they say in the ghetto, baby.
Oh, well, I got to learn how to speak ghetto.
Me too.
What
but
is with
did
you?
I get it at least halfway?
I
Anyway.
guess. Well, I think you want to know what am I going to be doing.
There you go.
I'm going to be at Kaleidoscope Cafe in Richmond, California.
Where's that at?
I don't know exactly because I've never been to Kaleidoscope Cafe before, but it's right in the heart of Richmond, and I'm going to be performing there on June 27th. It's all ages. It's free. There's going to be singers, rappers, poets, and people from all different types of performers. So it's going to be a wonderful time. Free event for everyone.
When you were in Berkeley here earlier this year, I think that's year. I'm not losing time again. But when you were in Berkeley, you really knocked them off there. I mean, people were talking and the street was filling up, and we had such a wonderful time. Tell me, where you get your songs from? Some of them you write.
Yes.
You know, and you must be a gifted individual because, I mean, people stop. You stop the traffic there, girl.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I write from my own personal experiences. Sometimes from the outside looking in, but I know some artists, let's say they had a bad day because somebody poured water all over their head, and then they go home and they write a song about somebody pouring water all over their head. It doesn't work exactly like that for me. It's just something comes out, and when I'm done, I say, oh, that was something that was bothering me, and it came out. Interesting. So I don't just write because, I have to get it off my chest. Sometimes I know that there's a song inside of me, and then I have to sing it, but I may not know what it is yet. So I hope I answered your question.
Well, I wish there was a song inside of me like you saying, because let me tell you something. When we were out there in Berkeley, I mean, the traffic stopped, and I'm for real. You know, people were parking on the side looking, and people were walking, going other places looking, and a lot of the university students were really impressed, and, you know, and they were clapping, you know, and I like that. We don't have what you call realness in the industry anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's a plastic industry, and it's kind of fake there. You know,
Yeah.
people got all these sound things to make them feel good, make
Yeah.
them sound good. They can actually mix on a mixer, you know, mix in all kind of stuff and change the voice octave and all this kind of stuff. When you come out there blasting, and you come
Aw.
out there playing your own music.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it feels good to be appreciated for that because it's gotten to the point where fans, they automatically assume that, oh, this person's an artist. So that means they don't write their own music. They don't actually sing. They don't do anything that an artist does. They're just the face of a made up artist. And so I have to explain to people, oh no, I write my own music. You know, like I actually came up with these ideas myself, or I did this myself. They're like, what? What, artists do that? No. You got to be like that other artist that doesn't write their own material. It's like, okay, well, thank you for your support. I'll come to the next show. You know what I mean? That's all you can really say. So,
You've been into several plays.
yeah.
And there's one now about your artistry and your life or something like that I was looking at on Facebook.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I was in the Barbary Coast Review.
Barbary Coast.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that was an amazing show. I got to play Miss Maggie understudy, which people are still talking about to this day. And I also got to play the wonderful historical figure, Madame Atoy, which there's actually more to that that's going to be coming out soon. Not that I'm not saying we're reopening it or anything like that. That has nothing to do with me. I'm just saying people are actually still talking about it. And like when we did the Barbary Coast Review, it was full every night. Like every time we did the show, it was always a packed house. And there was always sponsored, shows and everything. It was a wonderful, awesome show.
Did that catapult you a little bit into the icon area, or that made you feel pretty doggone good, didn't it?
Oh yeah, to play Madame Atoy, I got to feel what it felt like to be her. She was pretty awesome. It was a pretty good feeling. I wish I could be more like Madame Atoy whenever I want to. I snap my fingers. I'm Madame Atoy. I wish it could happen like that.
I want to ask you about your singing,
Uh-huh.
the way you sing. Where did you come up with? Who trained you? And how did you develop this magnificent voice you have? And how did you come to the point that you want to be real and not plastic?
Oh, thank you for asking me that, because it actually, my answer fits in with every question that you just asked. I was learning how to sing from my auntie. She's actually a voice teacher. She's actually a trained lifetime teacher, credential teacher. She teaches music. She's taught at Oakland High, Lowell, Fremont. She's taught at all of the public schools, and she was my first voice teacher. I would take piano lessons from my other auntie and a family friend called Pam Kunatani. She was my piano teacher. And I had another piano teacher, a black guy who was a jazz musician. He was so cool. So I've always been singing and playing the piano. But when I lived with my auntie's house, when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I was sitting near my piano, and I was watching a special about Elton John, about how he sings, plays the piano, and writes his own music. And from that day on, I just automatically assumed all artists, all pop stars write their own music, play the piano, compose their own music. I just automatically assumed that. And I got my first gig when I was in preschool.
Wow.
Yeah, singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I wanted to be just like Dorothy, Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz. And
Wow.
yeah, and I was discovered by a reality star now. I don't remember her name, but when I was a toddler, she kept telling my mom that I had potential and she could represent me and all of that. So I started going on auditions when I was a little girl.
I'm gonna tell you something. What I ran into this week, and I'm not a hoarder, but I'm a junkie. I ran into a piano sitting on the street this week. That's 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. It was built in New York, and the heart, there were the strings and all that stuff, and the keys is solid brass. It's 80 pounds of solid brass.
Wow.
Yeah, and it is and I said to myself, I said, look at that old piano. I told my buddy, we was in my truck, and he said, Charlie, let's go look at it because you got your eyes on it. Somebody had pushed it on the street with a sign that said junk and free. And I took it home, and I took my air compressor and put it on high pressure and blew all the cobwebs and the food and whatever else. And then I went underneath and opened the backside up, and then blew all from the inside. I blew all the food and stuff, and had rice in there that looked like little grains that would turn black. It had been there so long. All of a sudden, the keys started coming up, and then I went up on the top and opened it up on the top, and I blew it down again. And I kept doing that, and all the keys are free. And I was sitting there. I don't play no piano, but this thing has got pure ivory on the keys. I mean, it's not like the new ones that are synthetic and all this good stuff. This thing here is 110 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was got.
They have specialists, that can, help restore it and everything.
July 1909 it was born.
Wow.
This is 2016 almost.
Well, I'd like to see that piano. Maybe I'll play it for you.
No problem. No problem. One of the things I want to say to everybody in this country, we tend to look at the past, but we don't revere the past. We don't have very little respect for the past. But the past is what we are based on, and we need to take things like this and really take care of them. I took it home, and then I took it and washed it down with soap and water, and then I took some real antique furniture polish and cleaned it up, and it looks pretty doggone good. Wow. You see people all the time talking about, their heritage and their history and everything, but who really lives heritage? We have twisted this thing so out of whack that it's not the same thing anymore. We talking about heritage and respect and dignity, and we're talking about our forefathers, and reverence to them, and look how we live today. And I was saying to myself, looking at you, you're straight-laced, you're out there, you're doing a business, you're doing a craft, and if 1,000 people like you did something good every day, we would have a better nation, and we would have a better community, and we would have a better race. That's how I feel about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
I mean, you're super in my book. Hey, girlfriend. I mean, you got it. And I heard you sing, and you can come by when I get all set up, and I bought a lot of stuff. I got a keyboard, I got speakers, I got all this stuff in my basement, my garage. And I'm going to set all this stuff up, and you can come over and have yourself a good time. I tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to sing for you.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
What are you going to sing?
I don't know yet. We're going to sing something.
Okay. We'll sing something.
And I'll get some music. I'm going to buy some music, and then I like the old jazz. I like your method of presentation and the way you present your stuff to the public.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Very old-fashioned, I guess.
Okay. We're going to move on a little bit here. And I'm getting ready to put you on the spot, okay?
Oh, okay.
I mean, you have this out opinion of how things are and how things should go. And you know what? It's respectable, and the fact that it's really respectable. And I said to myself, God bless America.
Okay.
How old are you?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I'm looking at how things are. One of the things that I'm looking at is the fact that young black people a majority of them don't seem to have the drive you have. Where do you get that from?
I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. It's sad because when you do have drive and you see a goal and you think you're gonna achieve it and you don't, you keep going anyway. And I don't know where that comes from. I couldn't say. All I know is that I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I do. It's who I am. It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna change. And I wish that I could get more from it, but I don't know where the drive comes from. It's just always been who I am, and it's always been what I wanted, and I'm blessed enough to know that it's what I do. It's my destiny.
We're going to move on a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to say something again about the games, NBA games. I thought the whole thing was a farce. I thought it was set up. I mean, this is my personal opinion and not the opinion of this station. I'm going to say that. Okay, let's get that clear because I don't want nobody suing the station. They can come after me all they want to under the Freedom of Information Act. I can say any doggone thing I want to say within range on this station. But I thought, the Game 6 was horrifically a big mess up, to putting it nice. How they fouled out our choice players, our number one and number two player, how they just fouled them out, how they suspended them. I think they broke the rhythm of the whole thing, and that was in my book, they wanted Cleveland to have this game because of LeBron James. And I don't know if that, that's my own personal opinion. And you might come back at me for that and yell and scream and talk a whole bunch of stuff. But that's the way I looked at it.
Like, what about it makes you think that? Like, yeah.
Politics and money.
Politics and money.
Politics and money. I think this is all politic and political. And, and I think, and now they're banging the Warriors. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. But when you break somebody's stride, and break somebody's spirit, I mean that's not the way that's supposed to be, And you know what? Let me tell you something. Moving on to something, the black community, the minority community, Black Lives Matter. I look at them. What do you think of that organization?
I appreciate what Black Lives Matter, the point that it's bringing up to the public. I'm not exactly sure how much money they're getting off of it because I bought a Black Lives Matter poster. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure how they operate, but I do appreciate that point being brought up. I think that when you say Black Lives Matter, you get opinions out there. I do understand that what they're saying is everyone's lives matters in America but black people. And I think that that's true regardless of what race you are or I am. It was in the Constitution that originally black people weren't considered real people. And they're still treated like they're a half of a person.
Three-quarter people.
Three-quarters of a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that it's being brought up because how people look at blacks and how they view blacks is very negative, just all around the world. Like people in China, they feel a different way towards black people than they would a white person from America. They don't respect black people because of the things that they've heard, not the things that they've experienced. So I'm glad that someone was brave enough to bring that up. And really, it's just a new word for the same story. That's how I feel about that. Now, I can't say, oh, I know exactly how that organization works or what they've done for the community. I can't say that. But all I can say is just that word and that title has brought up a lot of opinions.
One of the other things in this situation that we're looking at, too, is the way a lot of the inner city minority people look at each other.
Yes.
We talk about pride. We talk about dignity. We talk about respect. We talk about what other people are doing to us. But do you know, according to the statistics from Minister Louis Farrakhan, that over 5,000 people a year are killed on black crime? And I still don't understand the whole thing of gangs, black gangs against black gangs. You sit out there and you call each other brother and sister, but you go take their lives. If you're your brother's keeper, how are you taking his life? And these girls are fighting on television, fighting on internet, fighting on Facebook. I mean, I don't think that's conducive to what we are and who we are. Do you?
No.
Well,
No, I don't think that's a good representative of anyone. But I also want to point out the media sensationalize it and gives them ammo to do that as
yes,
well.
it does.
Which goes back to what we were saying originally about Black Lives Matter and how African Americans are viewed in the public. Let the media write about something positive going on in the Black community. I rarely ever see that. Like when Mr. Fab does his backpack drives and his backpack giveaway, the media seems to not like to sensationalize those things.
Well, they don't sensationalize anything positive.
Yeah.
One of the things I said to one of the media people not too long ago, I said, you had this thing about a bird, birds watching birds and birds mating with birds, but you never see anything human, anything with any gist to it, or any substance to it when it comes to Black people. And you know what? One of the things is I want to tell you, stop fighting on Facebook, Black America. Stop fighting on Instagram, Black America. Don't give them the the stuff to go out and put out more bad stuff, because we are the basics for a lot of the stuff that's being put out there. Fighting on Facebook and women ripping each other's clothes off, ripping off wigs and what do you call them things? Lace fronts?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I found out what a lace front is.
Yeah, you found out this morning, huh?
I think, this morning. I didn't know what the hell one was. A lace front,
Yeah.
And I mean, we need our dignity. We need our respect. Because if we don't have it, then nobody else will have it for us. And we are, I was reading something years and years ago, 50, 60 years ago, we are the better civilization. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess we as in
our people, we as a race, we're the base of civilization. Okay. We were here before.
Why is that? Okay.
One of the things is that reading history and and people don't really live history. All this twisted stuff that you see people now with historical stuff, the hair and the beads and all that stuff. Let me tell you something. When I was 7 years old, I was in my grandmother's basement, and she had hot combs over 100 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, crudely made, but they were over 100 years old.
Yeah.
And people dressed up back in the 40s. I loved it. Look at you. You always looking good.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I do try.
Looking dapper, honey.
Well,
that
I
ain't
have
the right word.
old parents.
Oh.
Not like most people my age, their parents were like 16 when they had them, or 15,
yeah,
or maybe 12. But my parents actually waited a very long time, and my mom is actually like from like that era. In fact, she was in a singing group called the Manuel Sisters, her and her sisters, in the 50s and 60s. And so I have old-fashioned parents, so thank you. That's
and
probably
you got old-fashioned ways. Somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
So this brings us into rearing kids and loving kids, and being. And it does not mean that you got to go out there and get a pair of Jordans and a pair of Ed Hardys to stand on the corner with a white hat on and a leather coat thinking you're something, because that's the priorities in the wrong place. When I look at you, I look at the fact that you dress very nice all the time.
You.
And I think you should be a poster person for the Black community.
Oh.
Seriously, because you know what? Walking around with your pants on the crack of your butt, with 15 pounds of phony hair on you, you're a man and not a woman. I walked behind a guy the other day. I thought it was a woman. He was switching so much. I said, "Woo, look at that." I looked at, oh my God, dude, what's happening here?
Oh, that's gotta be a terrible experience.
I'm telling you, and
for both men and women.
I'm telling you, and I'm looking at the fact, and I said, hey, dude, what's happening with you, man? He had hair down past his belt line.
Yeah.
You know
what I actually think, in my opinion, is I think that the generation that grew up in the 60s, like with the hippie stuff, they had so much resentment for probably having racist parents that how they raised their children was so of an opposite. Like, you can love whoever you can, but then even though their heart was in the right place, they forgot to draw lines, and then they forgot to say, well, don't forget where you come from.
Right.
Regardless. Right. I mean, it's okay if you're white to say, well, we come from a German family. There's nothing wrong with being who you are. You know what I mean? But I think that generation, they forgot to explain to their kids why things don't matter, or why you shouldn't judge. And now it's to the point where there's just no lines. Like, men entering women's dressing rooms, men dressing like women and not knowing that that's offensive to some people, men sexually harassing women, and it's okay because they believe that they're women too. See, things that women do behind closed doors and that men do to each other behind closed doors is just something that happens, locker room stuff, and it's not okay for a man to do it, even if he believes that he's a woman. And I think that they were probably raised in a way where lines weren't being put there saying, don't cross this line. So now it's offensive and to other people that are victims of it, but you can't say anything because that method of how maybe a large group of people were raised outpowers everyone else who may have not been raised the same way. See, I've been in show business a long time, and there are a lot of men out there who do sexually harass women, and I'm not going to be afraid to say that because I have been.
Oh, heck no, because it happens.
Yeah, because I've been sexually harassed by cross-dressers, believing that it was okay to enter the restroom, and I think that I'm sharing this now because of all of the controversy about the bathroom laws and everything, and I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't recall voting for it. And I'm upset because I am a victim of that, and it should be stopped. I think that there's a reason why there's words and there's places to do that where it's okay, but it shouldn't be okay outside of those places. Like, if you go to a gay club, like, okay, you're in their territory, but for the rest of the public and public places to stress your perversion on someone else and then it be legal and it's okay. As women in general, we're already sexually harassed and assaulted enough and blamed for it. And now you're giving perverts more ammunition to do this to us. And, I'm asking that it be stopped, but I'm only one person. And unfortunately, we live in a city and in a state where this thing is like acceptable all over, and I'm not okay with it.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. I was at work the other day, and I work for somebody here in the Bay Area, city and county and state. And I was standing in the lobby, and this really, really gorgeous girl came up to me, and she was in tears. She was in tears, and she couldn't hardly get it out. And I says, "What is the problem?" And I was looking at her. And she got really close to me, and she didn't want people to see her crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Don't cry no more." She said, I need to find out where to file a sexual harassment suit. This should not be. Do you know there's 80,000 cases of sexual harassment go on currently every week in this country that they can document? 80,000 a week. You got a lot of people trying to get at people for whatever reason. And 80,000 cases is a lot of, and I read that someplace, and I can't verify it, but I read that, and I'm going to tell you it's possible because you see it every day. Corporate America is inundated with sexual harassment and sexual overtures, somebody is kind of, trying to get to somebody. But you know what? I mean, we as a country need to get off our derrieres. Woo-hoo, I almost said something. We all need to get off our derrieres and bring back respect and dignity. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Because you have to have some kind of line of respect, even in, and corporate America is out of control right now. Nothing is sacred, not from the food you eat to the bed you sleep in to who you sleep with. And you know what, one of the things that really got to my attention is people are putting these little things, these bugs I call them, underneath their skin, what do they call them? I call them bugs, and they're people are looking at this, and I was upset because this is the beginning of people control.
Yeah.
And this is the condition. This is getting ready to classify people by race, color, creed, financial viability, and here we are, putting chips in people already, and it's scary, and this puts into the fact that all that we've been talking about in the last 10 minutes, that people are going to use this. I feel that people. Would you let anybody put a chip in you?
No. And I'm pretty sure I'd get yelled at and fussed at and punished for it too. For the same reason, I'm not gonna bank with the same bank I'm banking with either.
Well, here we go again. We're talking about society. We started out with you. We went into race. We went into respect. We went into dignity. And here we are talking about people putting chips in people. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This is the beginning, in my opinion, not the opinion of this station. In my opinion, this is the beginning of the new world order that's coming in. Okay. And corporate America controls, and the rich people controls the new world order. And this goes into the fact that...
Are the Jacksons on that list?
Who?
The Jacksons.
Who's that?
The Jacksons, Michael Jackson's family?
I have no idea.
Are they on that list of the wealthy?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But I know there's the top 20 people in this country. They're all white.
Oh, wow.
Except Oprah Winfrey.
And Barack Obama.
Oh, he ain't as rich as Oprah.
He's not. Oh,
Mm-mm.
He's not.
No, he's not.
Well, Obama, it seems like you got some catching up to do.
Yes, you do, brother. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the phone after we get on him. I'm going to call Oprah and tell her to come pick me up.
Yeah, and she can pick me up, too. So
no,
don't leave me out in the cold.
Oh.
Oprah, when you pick us up, don't forget me. Don't forget me.
Oh.
Hi, Oprah. We love you, Oprah.
Yeah, we do.
We love Oprah.
Yes, we do.
She's a very smart woman.
Oprah is to me, she's a stick in the mud, so to speak. Not a stick in the mud. She is a pillar in the mud with a beacon on top. Because I have followed her over the years, and let me tell you something. She has done so much for mankind.
Aww.
And that I really like. She has really, 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 really done a lot for everybody, no matter what color, creed, or religion, or whatever. Oprah Winfrey has done so much, and she has been an example for the girl community. Did I say that right?
Girl community?
Young girl community.
Okay.
Not old. No. Women are old. They're still girls, but they're old.
Okay.
Something like that.
Interesting, Oprah.
Oprah has done so much, and we're looking at. Let's talk about Serena Williams.
Oh,
man, my girl is just out there doing it. She's doing it. She's doing it. And the thing about it is she's starting schools in Africa.
She is?
Yes, she is. She's
wow.
got about 4 or 5.
Good job.
Yeah, she's got about 4 or 5 schools in Africa. I wish, that's fine. No, I have no complaints about that. But we need to help our own first, And I was looking at the fact, and I'm going to put something out here that a lot of people are not going to like. We gave Israel $50 billion.
Wow.
They're asking for $50 billion. Obama gave them 30 or 40 billion.
Of our money?
Of our money.
Why didn't he spend that money on me?
Oh.
He should have gave me some.
No, girlfriend. You off kilter again. Yes, you are. You off kilter again. I should be driving a brand new dragster right now, alcohol dragster.
Oh, really?
Or a super comp dragster.
Or he could have fixed the healthcare industry. He could have used some of that billion to fix that.
Well, you got to look at the healthcare industry too. It's in the embryo stage, and they're fighting him to keep it there. That's why the Republican Party right now is in a rye. They're actually out there. They're trying to do something that that's not conducive to the better health of everybody. How do you feel with the fact that politically the Republican Party has shut him down on 60% of the things he's endeavored to do, and it's out of insidious desires just because he's a person of color?
Wow, he goes through that?
Yes, he does. But he didn't. He cannot bring me a new dragster, But like I said, he gave Israel $50 billion. And being serious, eyes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there is a lot here that you can do with $50 billion.
Oh yes,
or 40 billion, whatever. I know it's a whole lot of billions.
Mm-hmm.
And there. Look at. I mean,
well, you can help preserve the planet with some of that money.
Oh, girl.
But I guess they would
stop being real.
No, I think that some of that would probably, in a way, be to preserve the planet. Like if you're trying to protect the U.S. from them, in a way, that's protecting the planet. But I think that, because I think that Spare the Air days, people would care more about Spare the Air if the buses were free on that day. Because it used to be that on Spare the Air Day, all the transportation was free.
Right.
But nobody celebrates Spare the Air Day anymore because we still have to get to work. We still have other things to do. So if you would help us spare the air with some of that $1 billion, like at least in this state of California, I don't know anything about politics, but I'm just saying, if you invested some of that money into Spare the Air Day, that would help.
Well, that goes into another way of thinking things. Our priorities are kind of in an abyss. An abyss is a deep, dark hole with no ending or very little ending or something like that. But our whole way of thinking, in relation to what we are. Let's talk about Islamophobia.
Okay.
The Islam people of Islam right now, Muslim, whatever you want to say, they are Islam. I'll call it Islam. We'll be general with it. They're catching hell right now in this country. People are shooting them. People are insulting them.
Yeah.
People are throwing stuff on them. What happened to us as a country where we are supposed to respect everybody?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
See, that you can only do that if you're a certain type of person and you're just talking about yourself. It's like you can respect yourself, and you're supposed to respect everybody else, but when somebody else comes in the room and that's Muslim or that's black, it's like, oh, well, we're not talking about one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or, the truth is, if you're like a gay white male, then it's all good from you from there up,
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're an Islamic person or Muslim or one of those religions, and you're wearing a hijab, whatever they call that, the people are looking at, and the insults are growing and growing and growing. Politically, there's backlash against people, who are Islamic, and here we are. Most of this country are immigrants.
Yeah.
The biggest majority are immigrants,
Well, yeah, and you have to remember, a lot of those immigrants were forced to come here against their will.
That's right.
Yeah.
And look at slavery. This country's talking about how wonderful and all this avance and pomp. Look at our history. Let's talk about Wounded Knee a little bit, where 250 Native Americans, women, children were killed by, and there I saw the picture, and they're standing there with rifles and big smiles and everything.
Wow.
It was like a party, the killing. They wiped out over 6 million people, Indian people. They wiped them all out, the biggest majority of them. And what they didn't wipe out, they forced them on reservations and forced some of them into starvation. And even still today, the Indian nation is under fire. The Bureau of Indian Affairs is under so much political pressure.
And even then, when they lived on the reservations, for the most part, they forced them to be Catholic.
That's right.
And all Native Americans don't live on reservations, and even though they should be, and they're supposed to be, because I had good friends in Oakland who are Native American, and they're still waiting to get on their reservation. That's not fair. That's not fair.
No.
And it's a known fact that they're not just somebody saying they're Native American. They're Native American.
Do you know that they have one of the highest rates of suicide of any society? Yes, they do. Teenage suicide.
Wow, I did not know
here
that.
we are in this country giving somebody $50 billion, you know, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is like an arrogant idiot as far as I'm concerned. $1,600 haircuts, and his people are starving, and he's got people. And the one thing is, I want to say, we're gonna bring this racism thing out. They're slaughtering Ethiopian people
What?
and Palestinians, you know. And you know what? One of these days, God's gonna come back.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna come back. He ain't gonna be happy. Oh my God, you did this. You know, he's gonna look down. You know, and the Ethiopians. And let me tell you something else too. We're talking about heritage earlier. You know, one of the people talking about all my heritage, this and my heritage. And you know what? They just traced the gene of 10 people back 3,000 years to a certain line of priests that was in before the time of Christ. They traced their lineage back. They traced another one to North Africa. The Israelis are doing this. These are the true Jews.
Yeah.
Oh, low, baby.
Yeah.
The true Jews were not white.
Yeah.
You know, they are not. These people now who consider themselves to be the children of God, and we're not talking about religion. We're talking out of the hat here. They're not really the chosen few. You know, and I just want to say we have to look at reality and getting back to black people in this country. Again, I'm going to say this. Stop killing. Get off the jealousy. Get off the cheap clothes. Get off the cheap shoes. Get off the doggone hoopties who can't pass smog. And get yourself some education and fight the system that's trying to put your tails in prison right now. We're looking at the fact, guys, that New York City, their police department is tenacious and when it comes to beating the hell out of black people. And I seen them beat this black woman on. I mean, they beat the daylight, and she was handcuffed. I mean, stuff like that. We're looking at a nation right now we're very, very fractured, and we're very deeply fractured, you know. And we want you to educate yourselves out there. Am I right about that?
Yes. Educate yourself. Know your rights.
Get a trade, you know. And we're looking at the school systems who really have dropped the ball, and some of these idiots out there who call themselves administrators making $150,000, $200,000 a year. Very pompous, very arrogant. I mean, here they are out there, and the schools are failing. 51% of the schools in Oakland, California, did not graduate black males. 51% of the black males did not graduate. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to look at that. We got to do better, folks. Yeah, right. This is my rant day.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is my rant day,
We
and
can
I'm
see.
gonna tell
We
you
can
like
see
it
it.
is. You know, there's too many people in the black community who are unemployable because of their mental state and the way they are doing things and their mentality. They want to live this ghetto life, which ain't going nowhere, you know, and can't go nowhere. I mean, heck, you know, what are we going to be, you know, what are we going to do? Where are we going to be in life if we don't stand up and fight? You know, and voting. Hillary Clinton right now is looking at to be the president of this country. You know, what do you think about that?
I thought that I voted for Bernie Sanders,
Uh-oh.
but I don't think that's what happened. You're the one that convinced me to vote for him. Did you vote for Bernie?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And, you know, let me tell you something. You know, the thing about it is that this election right now is so dirty all the way across the board. You know, all this stuff about Hillary's coming up,
Yeah.
all this true stuff, and the people are starting to become angry. This is why I am afraid that they might go with Trump.
Yeah. Well, they should have voted for Bernie.
They tried to vote for Bernie, but in many states they closed the polls early.
What? That's
Yes,
not
they
fair.
did. And in many states, Republicans have disenfranchised up to 100,000 people, like in Florida and some of the Midwestern states.
If you live in Florida, get out of there. They're gonna keep taking your rights away. Cause I mean, all the things that go on in Florida is more like anti-American stuff. It's not just the voting from when George Bush was becoming president. It's Also, the laws that they're passing to make people, I think it was a law to prevent people from, I don't know, whatever it was.
It was a law with people with priors. You've done your debts to society.
Yeah.
So why should you be held accountable for just being a human being
Exactly.
once you done paid the price?
That was what I was talking about.
Yeah.
You guys.
I mean,
so if you live in Florida, please get out. Move somewhere else. Because that seems to be the biggest state where they're cheating you out of your votes. So, yeah. I mean,
the Trayvon Martin thing didn't go good with me in Florida,
See?
And this jerk that's out there now trying to sell the gun that he killed Trayvon Martin with, and now a black man stood his rights, and they want to put him in jail. I mean, come on, stand your ground should be for everybody, not just because your name is Zimmerman and you're white,
Now,
or
I thought
try
that
to be
he
white.
died.
Huh?
I thought Zimmerman, I thought he died. I thought he committed suicide.
No, he didn't. He's on the internet the other day.
Well, it's just there was a story about him killing himself a long time ago, and then all of a sudden, now he's back in the media again.
Nope. He's alive and breathing, and he's out there, And you look at the disparity in the political system and the judicial system. It's coming up. They've got judges. They've got policemen who are planning bad contraband on black people. They're beating the daylights. They're assaulting women and children now. Nothing is done about it. And I think if you read my book, Thoughts of a Common Man, on Amazon.com, you'll see we are a very fractured nation. What we don't need to do, we don't need to fight each other anymore. Some people, the president of the NRA said that one day white people will own black people again. He said this publicly, and this radiates a lot of the feeling that's out there, and a lot of the hate and deceit, and a lot of the stuff that's out there that's brewing. And we as a country don't need this.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're very right.
You
I wouldn't vote for anyone like that, just like I wouldn't vote for certain people who are running right now. So, I mean, like I said, I voted for Bernie. Because
I think Bernie
if I
was
voted,
the most honest person in the whole group.
If I had voted for someone in my political party, which is Peace and Freedom, it still wouldn't have mattered. So I voted for someone who would have mattered.
Well, I made a comment on Facebook the other day, and a lady came back, and she came back at me hard. But let me tell you something. We're fractured.
Yeah.
We're dangerously fractured. And I say dangerously fractured. Anytime you got comments like, let's put white back in the White House, and it should not matter any color of any person that is the president of this country.
Well, they're saying that because they're trying to read between the lines of what Donald Trump is saying.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say this. The Donald is extremely articulate. He's very cunning. He's everything that you can look at that comes out of the dark.
I don't think he's cunning.
He's cunning. He's smart. So. No, baby. He's smart. That man, he's got it all. He's got it. His businesses right now, because he's out there acting a fool, his businesses are generating so many millions of dollars.
I think a lot of people dislike Donald Trump.
A lot of people like Donald Trump.
I think that people are voting for him because he's a Republican. I think Republicans don't have anybody else better to vote for. So they have to vote for him. Like, they're being trapped into voting for him.
Well, that's true to a point, too. But the point of the matter is a lot of people are voting for him because he's going to bring this country back to his knees 50 years. He's gonna take us back. He's going to take us back. And here we go again. People of color, all people of color out there slashing.
Except for Omarosa. Omarosa's going to be on his side. That's going to be the only one that won't be going back 50 years.
But the one out of a billion?
Yeah,
One out of a billion?
Yeah.
Come on now. Hey, and we winding this thing up. Oakland, California, we have a very bad situation with OPD. And we want people to get out there and pray for Oakland because the scandal that's breaking in OPD right now is horrible. And I think the mayor looks like she's sleeping under the bed instead of on the bed, But she's made some very bad decisions, and Oakland has been politically convoluted for a long time. Am I right?
Yes. I think that the officers who are involved in this nonsense, all of them should be made public, regardless to what happens in the internal affairs investigations. I think that if
Wait a minute, girlfriend. You're talking about the boys in blue who have wings. These people are above reproach.
Yeah, and I think that somebody should do something about it. Obama's not doing anything about it.
Obama's not going to get into a level this small.
Well, I mean, if he would do something on it on a national level, he could. He could help all police departments, even police departments that probably don't have this problem. But he wants to spend that $50 billion, like you said.
Dang it, he needs to come get me an alcohol dragster.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get you a bottle of Jack Daniels so that you can remember.
I don't drink anymore.
So that you can remember when you wrote Thoughts of a Common Man.
You know what? Thoughts of a Common Man, 1995. And let me tell you something. I love you, sugar. And I'm going to tell you that. And thoughtsofacommonman.com on Amazon will shake your shorts because it will tell you the truth. You may not like what I got to say, but Thoughts of a Common Man will burn your brain, ladies and gentlemen, because it says a whole lot in this. My thoughts. I did not write Thoughts of a Common Man to please anybody. I wrote Thoughts of a Common Man because it's the way it is. Our society is the way. It tells you what it is, how it is, and where it's going. I even predicted the revelation of the prison mentality, and the fact that so many black people or people of color are being incarcerated, which is ludicrous at this time. It's a business. It is a business. It's a very profitable business. It's a flesh business.
I predicted some things too.
Did you?
Yes. You remember when the cable's cable got cut off?
Yeah.
And they said that they shouldn't have to pay all that money.
That's right.
To help their customers get cable.
Yep.
But I've been saying that about them for all those years. And then I was like, one day this is going to happen to them. And then a few years ago, it happened to them. Their cable bill became too high.
Yeah.
And I predicted that. So maybe I should write a book too.
Well, we got to back out of here, and I hope you've enjoyed us. In NYPD, for Joe Scandal too, get it together, baby. Get together, the eyes of the nation, and Miss Eyes right here, my honey right here, my favorite, her and Olive Belke, I say Olive and Eyes are the two that really blow this show out of the whack. And this is the Chief, KGM1.com, and I love you, and have a good day. Hey there, thank you for being with us here on Thoughts of a Common Man on KGM1.com. The very thought of you is our whole thing here, that we're going to bring you a show that's going to rock their world. Follow me on social media, your cell phone, and all the good toys. And that's a wrap.